There's been a lot of revolutions in consumer electronics, but perhaps the biggest one is how it goes from concept to end product. Nick, you work for Tyco, and you guys work a lot with Arrow and Indigogo. Arrow being the distributor that everyone's known for years. What are you doing here at this booth? What are they doing?
So typically our companies are the large manufacturers, but we've seen this new wave of hardware startups coming up, and we found it a little bit more difficult and challenging to engage with them. So what we're doing is working with Arrow Electronics, one of our best distribution partners, and Indigogo, so that we can reach another generation of startups and entrepreneurs who need the sensors and the antennas and the connectors that are our core business, and that are often more difficult for us to find when we go out from a sales perspective. We're here supporting the effort of reaching out to those kind of people in particular.
And it really has changed the way people can develop things. It used to be you'd have teams of engineers and you'd have to build a huge infrastructure just to build a simple product.
Yes, there's a lot of people that say we're living through a hardware renaissance right now, due to crowdfunding like Indiegogo offers, due to open source software that allows things like Raspberry Pi and Arduino systems to flourish, and due to just the availability of semiconductors that are now able to do much more than they were able to do in the past. So we're here as one of those component suppliers that has the key components that enable a 2-person startup, a 3-person startup to actually build a hardware product and take it from an idea that they prototype all the way through the ecosystem to a mass production product that is financed through crowdfunding and then shipped through the help of partners like Arrow Electronics.
And it's nice because they take care of all the logistics, all the regulatory compliance, that sort of thing, right?
Yeah, certifications and things like that are often a big roadblock to small startups. Arrow Electronics and TE working together can help solve those problems for you very easily.
And imagine too, just having the experience of having people who design for manufacture, that's invaluable, right?
That's really the key value, not only having a broad product portfolio, but knowing how to design these, being able to spot when a problem in the design exists. Entrepreneurs can approach us and we might be able to tell them, you've got a great idea here and a big vision, but you can't build it this way. You'll never achieve your cost targets. Try this or try that. That's really a lot of the value that we're bringing to this.
And you talked about a hardware renaissance. You also mentioned off camera about hackathons, hardware hackathons.
Yes. Hackathons are a big part of the ecosystem now, and hardware accelerators as well. Places that are just focused on helping hardware entrepreneurs develop new products or answer new problems. Hackathons, as part of CES or other events too, are often really exciting because they'll pose a question or initiate a problem, have some prize out there like funding from Arrow or TE, and then give the startups an opportunity to come up with a great new idea that's actually worth executing, and then we provide some support for them to go do that.
I suppose the other thing, it's changed the industry in the sense that you may have a lot more one-hit wonders, if you will.
Yes, you definitely do. Like you mentioned earlier in our conversation, like bands used to be. You might see a one-hit wonder with a great product. If they can leverage that into a real vision of a lifestyle product or a whole brand around a single product, then you can see them be successful. And there's a few cases of that. But there's other cases. Recent was a company called Pebble that built a smartwatch. They were a pioneer in smartwatches, but they weren't able to extend that enough to survive. So you see that evolution and that churn. Ultimately, that's a good thing for both consumers and for engineers in general. More opportunity to try new things and see what works.
Well, and you've said it yourself, that the idea that you don't have to be in a location now. If you have an idea, you can be anywhere.
That's true. You can be anywhere. With the ability to use some of the software tools that Arrow's making available, like OrCAD, their partnership with IBM, the partnership with component suppliers like TE, it allows you to be anywhere in the world and still have access to this global infrastructure and build your product from beginning to end.
Well, excellent. It's a huge part of the story of consumer electronics here at the CES 2017. So Nick, thank you for your time.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks.